me on all this, and we'll knock it out tonight. But here we go. The United States is the largest mission field in the Western Hemisphere. Some of these things, like I said, I'm going to fly through some of this tonight. If you want to jot some of it down, if you want to ask me for a copy after we're done, feel free to do so. But this is kind of what some of the things we ran across as we begin to say, where is it God's leading us? The United States is the 5th largest mission field in the world. Just talking about the sole number of non-believers. From 1994 to 2001, the number of unchurched people doubled in the United States. So, forgive me on my statistics. I realize you're like, Matt, 2001, hello, it's 2009. I got it, I know, but I'm just a little bit behind myself. From the 1900 to 2001, the United States population grew by 269%. In that same time period, churches in the United States grew by 65%. So you can tell we're kind of a little bit behind. Moving on here, 3,500 to 4,000 churches close their doors each year. Half of all churches in the United States did not add a single member by conversion in 2006. So of half the churches on the face of USA right here, half of them maybe had some folks coming to the church, maybe had some people transfer, but not have one single person come to faith in Jesus Christ inside the walls of their church. Half of them. 2008 was the first year the Southern Baptist Convention ended the year with fewer members than it began. Our convention in 2008, pretty self-explanatory. When we got to December 31st, just in case you need an explanation, we had fewer people on the rolls than we did January 1. So what does that have to do with church planting? New churches get about 60 to 80% of their new members from people not currently involved in church. So as we've had the opportunity to talk with local church leaders around our area and talk to them about church planting, this is the number that we've been sharing with them. That, hey, understand that 60 to 80% of the people that come into our church aren't coming to your church, aren't coming from your church, and we're not interested in people coming from your church. We don't want people coming from your church. We want people coming to our church who are uninvolved, lost, and far from God. And trying to communicate that, hey, we're working together in this effort. This is what God's called us to, and this is where we are. The state of the church in North Carolina, because a lot of times people say, okay, I get it, Matt, North Carolina, right? It's in the buckle of the Bible Belt. It's like dead center. You know, everybody in North Carolina goes to church. You're in the South, and you're part of the Southern Baptist Convention, so come on now. Let's get serious about this. The state of the church in North Carolina is this. On a given weekend, less than 20% of all people in Wake County, the county that I live in, will attend any sort of religious service on that weekend. That's whether it be evangelical Christian, whether it be Catholic, whether it be anything, any type of religious service at all, less than 20%. Wake County in the Raleigh-Durham area is the 6th fastest growing area in our country right now. So, these are what we're looking at. Sitting in the living room of my buddy's house, these are the facts that are staring us in the face. And we say, okay, God, what is it that you'd have us to do? And through that, God has led us to this decision to say, hey, let's plant. Let's do something new. Let's do something different. So we went to our church and we asked them to begin to pray. First time we brought the idea of the deacons, I'll say this, it wasn't met with great excitement and anticipation. But it was met with a lot of reserve and a lot of questions. But we began to answer questions and allowed them to ask questions, and that period of time lasted quite a while, longer than we thought it would. And at the end of that, it was within unanimous that we sat in a room, a different room than we began in, but we sat in the chapel behind the sanctuary of our church before we went out to discuss this with the entire church. And went around the room, and each deacon was asked individually by name, hey, how do you feel? Do you support what we're about to do? And each one by one, yes, 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 yes. And after the point of information was given, they were allowed, I think the information opened their eyes to say, hey, this is a need. And as Steve said, the next step from there was we started talking to the state convention, the North Carolina Baptist State Convention. They said, hey, you're going to have to, first the approval of your church, then the approval of the Raleigh Baptist Association, the association that we are in, and then we'll get on board and we'll come alongside of the North Carolina Baptist Convention. And so we went to a thing called basic training, just to show how my wife is plugged into this thing. We went to basic training in October. You're like, big deal, October. Well, it's not maybe not a big deal for you all, but at that point, our baby was 8 weeks old. And the first rule of basic training, absolutely no children are allowed at basic training. So we drug some babysitters from Indiana. We're like, well, who can we get? You know, your mom works, your dad works. We can't find anyone that'd be willing to drive 9.5 hours to watch some kid for a week. So we've got my parents. And they sacrificed, and they trekked down there and complained the whole time about how tough a job it was and how much gas it cost.